There we go. Good Tuesday evening. I'm Joe Gillaway, welcoming you to This and That, the podcast, where we bring you guests and topics you'll find educational, captivating, and fun from the worlds of pop culture, arts and leisure, local government, and beyond. This and That, the podcast is brought to you by Rickabaz Electric, Team PA, AAU Basketball, Linglestown Gazette Sports, and the Robert H. Hoke American Legion Post 272 on North Mountain Road. Upcoming on This and That, the podcast, Wednesday, the 27th of May, we have a podcast on addiction and recovery. We're going to have some friends of mine that are in recovery from drugs and alcohol, long-term recovery, and we're going to talk about, what happened in their lives to get them to the point where they needed to be sober and what it's like now. It's going to be a really good show. And if anybody has any friends that are struggling with anything, it might be something that you'd find educational and helpful. So also want to mention that if you are watching this on our YouTube channel, which you may be, and you want to get involved in the interactive part of it, you'll have to go over to our Facebook page. Then you can come in and ask questions or make comments or anything like that. All positive, of course, right?
Whatever it is. We'll take the good with the bad.
All right. So our disclaimer is the views and opinions expressed on This and That, the podcast, are those of the participants who voice them. Do not necessarily reflect the positions held by This and That, the podcast as an entity, our sponsors who support the show, or myself. Anyway, tonight on This and That, the podcast, episode 48. We are in our 13th month, 48th episode. We'll get to know the members of one of South Central PA's most long-standing musical acts, more specifically a fun, gritty, energetic, and very talented three-piece, good old-fashioned rock and roll band. Formed in the mid-'90s, their live act has been a mainstay for music fans, young and old, at venues large and small for decades. We're excited for this opportunity to sit down with Deuce, Brian, and Reg of the Martini Brothers. Thank you for doing this, fellas.
Yeah,
Thank you, brother.
Was that right? Did I have the time frames?
That's all right.
Okay.
Yep, that's all good stuff.
Because I've been wrong before, So anyway, thanks a lot. This is exciting. I think we've been trying to put this together ever since we got This and That.
Since the first
start. Yeah. And we've got Dan Smith's watching. Dan, we're going to get you on a show too. I like Dan. He's a buddy of mine. He's a great guy. And
Dan's a great guy.
So, yeah. Let's start with what we're doing at Dale's Drum Shop. I'm going to have Reg take that one. Reg, what are we doing at Dale's Drum Shop?
We're hanging out doing an interview with you.
And why are we here? Why is it Dale's?
Where else would we be?
Do you have a connection to Dale's Drum Shop?
Yes, I
this
do.
This is
I
a
work
plug
here.
time.
This is my life, basically, along with Dale, the owner, and his wife, Gail. Been here forever. This is our 44th year serving the
You're the general manager?
Yeah, it's loose, man. If you want to call it that.
I mean, this place is awesome. I walked in here and I was
not title driven.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest in the country.
So if you're a musician, specifically a drummer, do you do anything else other than drums?
No, why would we?
So why would they? Yeah. But if you're a drummer or you want to be a drummer, come in here, talk to Reg, talk to Dale. Who's the other gentleman? Okay.
We have Chris here and we have Kevin.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, Dale's Drum Shop, Fritchie Street, just across the street from the Colonial Park Mall and behind Case of Beer, right? The
Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come on, get yourself a drink.
Great. Thank you, Reg.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Okay, I'm going to start this way. This is kind of a canned question, but I love asking this question. I love seeing musicians ask this question. What was playing in your homes during your formative years? What were the parents listening to?
So
this Deuce, by the way.
Yeah, hello. Hi, guys. So, yeah, my parents listened to a lot of music. I think being in the car, driving to like the grocery store or wherever with my mom when I was a little kid is where I listened to most of my music, probably on AM radio.
Right. I would imagine.
And then, you would pay attention to the records that your parents were playing. My parents were all over the place with stuff they played. Like, it's amazing that I'm not gay, actually, because the shit I was forced to listen to when I was
show tunes.
Well, yeah, show tunes.
I had show tunes at my house. Jesus Christ, Superstar.
Barbara Streisand. My mom was so into Barbara Streisand.
So was my mom.
Johnny Mathis. I'm like, if I have to listen to this anymore.
Good music, though.
It's great in
really
retrospect, but
now,
when you're 7, it's like, man, I'm not listening to Barbara Streisand anymore. yeah, there's nothing wrong with being gay. I'll go back to that, but it's amazing.
Brian Cartwright, what were you guys listening to in your house growing up? Do you remember?
Yeah, my old man was Tom Petty fan.
Oh.
The Cars.
You have a young old man then.
I do, yeah. So my dad is close to Reggie's age. We're about 20 years apart. I grew up listening to music in the 90s mostly, so I got into a lot of alternative and grunge. But yeah, I would say stuff like The Cars, Petty.
His dad also was in a band.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
His dad
Bass
played
player.
in a band,
Yep.
Okay. And what is it all rock and roll?
Yeah, mostly rock and roll from his end, and then I just had like a big punk phase. I would say through the 90s, I fell into that when it kind of was revived, and yeah, that was mostly my influence.
Nice.
Mostly played punk rock drums most of my life, and then I've always been a bass player, and then these guys needed somebody, and it just lined up.
So you're a multi-instrumentalist.
That I am.
That's good. That's all. That's kind of one of my questions here later. So
Yeah.
we know that already. Reg, how about Reg's Troop? What were you listening to growing up? Or the parents?
In the car, it was AM radio. So, there wasn't, it was whatever
Mhm.
particular. And like Sunday evenings was Lawrence Welk. That's how far back
Mhm.
they were Depression era parents.
I think we're from the kind of the same
Yeah,
era,
Mhm.
age.
But I always like when Lawrence, you tuned into Wonderful World of Disney or whatever.
Mhm.
You probably remember that.
Yep.
And Lawrence Welk, I think, was one afterwards. And it was torture, but at least it was like live. It was actually real
Right.
live music. And
Was
the
that on
drummers were
TV,
live, and
or
they
was
had
that
some-
on-
It was kind of torture though, having to watch Lawrence Welk.
Yeah.
But it was live music, like you
The dude
said.
got badass musicians.
They were great
It might have been a
musicians.
hokey kind of gig. But,
Yeah.
But those dudes.
Absolutely.
Now,
Yeah,
was
you weren't on that show unless you were a world-class musician.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
doubt about
Was
it.
that on
And
TV
then-
or the radio?
Then
TV.
lately,
You don't remember Lawrence
Okay,
Welk?
yeah. No, I do. I
Okay.
do. No, but I'm just asking
the
questions.
radio I remember falling asleep listening to Super CFL out of Chicago. It was an AM radio station that played top 40 at the time.
Mhm.
So all that cool 70s top 40 stuff was how I used to fall asleep.
Right.
And in my folks' car, when they finally graduated to something that had an 8-track, Steve Miller Book of Dreams, and my mom would deal with it.
Before the Steve
She
Miller
didn't
that
like
most
it,
of
but
us
she
are
let me
familiar
listen
with,
to it.
right?
What's that?
That was before the Steve Miller that most of us are familiar with, right?
It was like the beginning of when he kind of got
Right.
more popular.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was way cooler Steve Miller before. Not that stuff wasn't
World-class
cool.
guy,
But
not
yeah.
just a pop star
Yeah.
with some good
And
songs.
Great
Yeah.
songwriter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know who his dad was?
Who my dad was?
No. Who Glenn Miller's
Steve
dad-
Miller.
Steve Miller's
Not Glenn
dad.
Miller.
Steve Miller's dad is Glenn Miller.
Is it
From the
really?
Glenn
I
Miller
never knew
Orchestra.
that.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
Yeah,
most
now.
people don't.
Isn't Glenn Miller from around here?
That's a different guy.
Ah.
That's the
He's
guy
got
that
a beer
owns the
distributor.
deli.
Yeah, he's got a beer distributor.
He's talking about the big bad guy, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't know that.
yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
See, what did I say at the beginning of the show? I think I used the word informative,
Yeah, there you
educational.
go.
Thank you.
Now, if you
Thank
get into
Deuce.
Cash Cab, y'all.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone have musical parents?
Yeah. My
What'd your-
mom,
What'd your mom play?
accordion,
Okay.
piano.
That's a
guitar.
real walk.
Her whole side was real musical. My dad
Yeah.
didn't really.
That's
do
a real
anything
Lawrence
musical.
Welk house.
Yeah.
Watching Lawrence Welk and having a
Right.
mother that plays the accordion.
And accordion.
I like it. I think it's a neat
Accordion
instrument, though. How about music you listened to growing up? I know it probably wasn't always the same type of music. Deuce, do you remember what you were listening to?
I listen to everything you can possibly imagine.
Rock, funk, R&B.
Yeah,
all
so
of it,
you
right?
know, in elementary school, I went to school with a lot of black kids
Mhm.
and stuff. So I enjoyed other cultures. As a kid, I always enjoyed something that wasn't what I was
Right.
used to. So I got turned on to a lot of cool black music when I was a kid.
You know,
And the other thing, with that being said, is around Central PA, around Harrisburg area, there weren't very many radio choices. WFEC, Disco
1400
14,
AM.
buddy,
Yeah.
that changed my life.
Good black
honestly,
music. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah, WKBO and WFEC, they were the main two.
yes,
And we went to the same school, Southside Elementary. And I remember listening to the Shaka Khan and Parliament Funkadelic.
Thank
I'd be
God.
like 9 years old listening to George Clinton.
Thank-
Like, how about it? Right?
Thank God we had that
I
experience.
know, I agree. I
You
totally
know?
agree.
It helped shape who
Yep.
I am.
Right.
To this day.
Bootsy Collins, you know, in fourth grade, and and
So my cat's name, we have a baby cat at the house, and her name is Bootsy Paulins.
oh,
That's my girlfriend, man.
That's a good one.
She's smart.
Anybody else? How about you, Brian? What'd you listen to growing up as a kid?
Yeah, like I said, 90s stuff. I mean, I was hugely influenced by the break of like Nirvana and Green Day, that whole era, Stone Temple Pilots, just everything alternative. And it was a great time for it. I feel like, it was pre-internet, so you had to just find it. I mean, MTV was still half decent, I think. And local shows were happening. You'd go out, you get flyers, you would just find some. I mean, before I knew these guys, I saw them at like Reservoir Park, just on a tip from a buddy. I was probably
The band shell.
Yeah, there at the band shell.
Yeah.
These guys and like another local band, Last Call. I was probably 14.
Was it your first show? Was it your first concert?
One of my first local show.
Yeah.
But I'm sure my parents didn't know where I was at, and I'm down in Reservoir Park seeing these guys, and it was badass, man. I was totally knocked out. And,
He's like 15 years younger than me.
Yeah.
I'm gathering that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a dream come true though to end up playing with these guys.
It's been really
That
cool,
is
man.
Great. What a story.
Yeah.
That is awesome. How about you, Reg? What were you listening to, bro? You look straight rock and roll, man, other than accordion.
It was
Alien.
Zeppelin, Cheap Trick, the
Yeah.
Who, the Beatles.
I'm in a Cheap Trick phase right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
so good.
Do you like them? Yeah,
Oh,
I
my
didn't know how good they were when they were actually out.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, so good.
Particularly like Cheap Trick. That album before Budokan when they
Right.
broke.
Yeah,
That's a badass.
I saw them
recording.
open for Rod Stewart a couple years, just 2-3 years ago. They were so good,
Hmm.
so good
Yeah.
down in Hershey.
Still great.
Yeah. Okay. How about first instruments picked up? Because I know when we're talking the phase that we're talking about now, you guys probably weren't playing instruments quite yet. But how about you, Deuce? When did you start? I remember Deuce from a young age walking around with a guitar over your shoulder, man. Like
There was nothing in the case.
wasn't
Nah,
it?
nah.
I believed it.
Golf clubs. No, I'm joking. So I didn't start. I got my first guitar when I was 14 years old. Dan Smith and I.
Late-ish, not real late, but
Yeah.
that's late-ish. Some kids
Yeah,
are
I wasn't a
playing
little
10 or
kid
12.
playing it.
Right.
My first thing I ever played was a snare drum.
Okay.
I played snare drum in the elementary school.
Right.
Lugged that big thing up to the
Yeah.
bus stop.
Yeah,
every
yeah,
morning.
I did
Oh,
too.
Did you?
I did too.
yeah, it was terrible. Pat, 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 pat.
That's about
Pat.
it. And you
Oh,
had to hold it the old school way,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You weren't able to hold it like that.
no, I wasn't allowed
Yeah.
to be Peter Chris.
Right.
That's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to do that.
So it was guitar from day one, right? For you?
Yeah. Yep. I
And
could
snare
play
drum.
drums a little bit.
Yeah.
I played bass in a band for a while, but guitar and bass are
Right.
relatively
Right.
similar.
Right.
Yeah, I can't play piano. I wish I
Right.
could.
I know. I have a grandson, and he just started playing guitar
Yeah.
like weeks ago, like maybe a month and a half ago. I just bought him a nice guitar, and all. But I told him, I said, if you have a chance to try to play piano, also, and that's a lot to ask a 14-year-old to learn the guitar and the piano.
It
But
is.
they're kind of like the two,
If you can play piano, you can put songs together.
right?
Piano's awesome.
exactly. right.
But I think the thing is when kids are in school and you try to introduce a child to playing piano, they have the child play all these
Right.
stupid
Hurts their
songs that the
fingers
kid,
and it's-
the song choices don't interest a kid to make him want to practice.
Sound of music.
Yeah, I don't want to play. I want to play,
Right.
something that is familiar.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
That's where people,
Brian, how about you? When did you start playing an instrument, any instrument?
Yeah, it was 10 years old, man. I found my dad's bass in the living room closet. And
And your dad was cool enough that he wouldn't have minded. That
yeah, it wasn't like pushed or anything, or it was something he did, and then he just still had it and didn't really play much anymore. And I found this thing out. Yeah, I was 10 years old, 92. So again, Green Day, Nirvana. I picked that thing up, and I didn't know really at the time anything, I guess. And so I would hear "Smells Like Teen Spirit," and I hear the main riff, and I'm like, playing it way up high on the bass because the bass is in the lower register, but I'm just trying to mimic this stuff I like. Like Deuce said, you're forced into playing these songs if you take lessons that you don't like. I had the option to just like pick up this instrument and try to imitate stuff I really
That's
like.
the other way to
So
learn.
it was it was just like this free form thing, and I could just go at it. My parents were super supportive, But within a year, I was in love with the drums. A buddy of mine in the neighborhood got a drum set, and that was it for me. And I focused on being a drummer for the following 20 years. Still always played bass and picked up some guitar here and there, but
What kind of
Yeah.
bass did you pull out of the
it's
closet?
a
What was your dad's
a
bass?
78 Rickenbacker, which I still have.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's
The real
yeah,
deal.
yeah. It's pretty sweet, man. And just the original receipt was in there, and for what that thing cost back then, nowadays is just like
Right.
it's insane. Yeah, so yeah, that's a cool piece of history, man. I'll always hang on to that thing.
And then the most tolerant parents of them all, the drummer's parents. How-
Yeah.
when
That's a
did that
fact.
start? And,
That's a
and how the
fact,
parents
man.
like that?
My brother was a drummer.
Okay,
Older
all right. So
brother.
they were your parents were conditioned.
They were
then.
ready. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and there was also a piano in my house, but I could never get into that. My brother had a drum set. I don't even remember when I started to play it, but all of a sudden I could keep a pattern going on, and then just loved it. So I just kept going. And I tried piano lessons briefly, but it was from my sister.
Mhm.
And I kick myself every day for not continuing, but it's hard to take lessons from your sister,
Right.
your older sister, she was great, but
No,
it's,
that's tough.
it's still your older
Yeah.
sister.
Right. It's still your older sister.
And
Yeah.
I still wish I had kept going with that.
So was everybody kind of all in once you started playing these instruments? Did you think about it when you were at school? Did you think about it when you were away? Did you lay in bed thinking like, man, I can't wait to have that guitar back in my hands or those drumsticks? Was it like that right away, or is it just kind of like
Not really.
pastime? It's just a pastime, right?
Yeah. It wasn't like that for me.
Right.
I was just
So
trying
it's a fair
to,
question though, because
It's a
some
good
people
question.
like I was baseball, and I would wear my glove to bed.
Wow. Right
Like,
on.
too bad, yeah.
Hardcore.
Right.
I didn't take it off when I was ready to go to sleep, but I'd leave it right
Good
there.
idea.
I just couldn't wait,
Put it under your pillow.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Meat
cool.
foot oil on the side of your face.
Right.
If that would have been the case, if I would have been thinking about the guitar, man, I can't wait to get home, and I would be a better guitar player
Nah.
than I am today.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Might have got burnt out with it too. You never know.
that-
You
well,
never
that's
know.
true. Yeah, that's
You probably did it just the amount of time that you were supposed to.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when did this turn into bands? I know you guys weren't all together from day one.
94.
I knew Dan Smith. Shout out Dan Smith
Dan Smith,
and Tim McCartney.
Tim McCartney,
And the three of you guys were
Sam
at least
Pantano.
kind of like the Three Amigos. You guys were all into, and Reg and I were talking about it. I don't want to, kind of pigeonhole you guys, but you guys had kind of like the look and the feel of, talk about what your musical interests were back then, like a rockabilly look. I can tell you that,
Well, yeah.
but I don't think you guys were too cool to be like, we're rockabilly. I think you guys were just like rock and roll dudes that like to dress that way, right? Leather.
Sure.
Kind of had I don't know if they were pompadours, but
we were kind of the first punk rock new wave.
that's
kids.
it. Yeah.
There were the Heads and the Jocks.
Yeah.
And then there were us.
Then there were
weirdos.
these three.
Yeah, it was like-
Seriously.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was weird. It was strange who wanted to squash us and stomp us out,
Right.
and who wanted to cultivate these guys are kind
But
of.
if you knew them, you knew they were nice guys.
Yeah,
If you didn't, I think people are like afraid of what they don't really know.
they are.
And you don't identify it with fear, but you think, man, I don't like them because I don't know
I don't
what
understand
they
it.
stand for. Yeah.
Right. What is it?
So then
What is it?
you kind of go the other way with it.
Right.
Well, they suck or they're weird or they're this. or
Yeah.
that. So you got a lot of both, I'm sure, right?
People wanted to kick my ass all the
I'm
time
sure.
just to see if they could.
I thought you guys were cool though.
Well,
just
thanks.
so you know.
I mean, we were definitely doing our own thing.
Yeah, if he told you guys that they were doing their own thing, and this is he wasn't lying.
This was 1980.
Yeah, they were doing their own thing, believe me. So what did you start playing with them? Was that like your first, the three of you?
Dan Smith and I bought guitars at the East Mall,
Mhm.
at Sight and Sound,
Mhm.
the record store. It was a great record store, but they also sold guitars and basses and
Little of this, little of that.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe some drum stuff. All along the walls, they had guitars hanging. I remember being at the East Mall one day thinking, I need that red Hondo 2. That's what I wanted. It was red Les Paul shape. It was beautiful. It was a cheap guitar. My dad bought it for me though,
Right.
which was, I was surprised that my dad bought it for me, but he did. And Dan Smith's parents bought him a bass. So he had a bass.
He's got cool parents.
Yeah. Yeah. His dad just turned 85
Yeah,
yesterday.
yeah.
So, in any event, we bought a guitar and a bass, and we went back to his house, and we tried to figure songs out. just in playing together, even if it was Louie Louie or whatever,
Right.
something simple.
Whatever you could play.
Yeah. Our look was way better than our proficiency. We had our look down
Right.
before we
The talent had to catch up to the look, right?
correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So that was kind of your first until
and then Tim McCartney. And so what happened was Sam Pantano from Pembroke he was our drummer.
Mhm.
And we really got into the Stray Cats, and that's when we turned our punk rock look sort of into more of a rockabilly
Right.
look. And we went that way, listening to the Cramps and the Polecats and the Stray Cats, of course, all the
Black
rockabilly
leather
revival
boots,
stuff.
leather pants. I remember the whole
All the stuff.
jacket.
I remember greasing Tim McCartney's hair in the bathroom of Pomeroy's over here across the street. We went to where did we go? We went to the drugstore and got Royal Crown pomade. We went down to the bathroom with Pomeroy's.
You guys were all in.
And I greased his hair for him. And then we walked around the mall trying to figure out if people were looking at us because they thought we were cool or because they wanted to fight us.
Right.
And it was both.
Yeah. A little bit.
But you gotta,
Right.
the first time you grease your hair is a big deal, man.
Brian, how about you? When were you first kind of in a band, or you felt like you were in a band?
Um,
You were jamming regularly with the same dudes, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, from a young age, man, like I said, I picked that stuff up at 10 years old, and by 11 and 12, me and my cousin and some other kids in the neighborhood were making noise, like us, just trying to imitate Nirvana, that type of stuff, real simple kind of stuff. And by the time I got to high school, man, we had a pretty happening band in high school, and we would play this place over near Deuce's Salon called The Wire. It was like a little coffee house, but it was all ages. So we were, 15, 16 years old playing shows.
That's
I remember,
so much fun,
the
man.
band I was in high school actually opened for the Martini Brothers at The Wire.
That's amazing.
So,
It is.
What was it called?
that band was called the All Stars.
The All Star.
Yeah.
You guys have to be good with a name like
Just
that.
like a punk trio. Yeah, man. And
Yeah.
it was cool, man. And just, I knew these guys. I knew Reg from the drum shop, and it was just so cool to play a show at that age with a band that was so established in the area.
Right.
Yeah. So I was obsessed right away, man. Like you were saying about going to school. I mean, I didn't even think about school, man. I just sat in school all day thinking about skateboarding or playing music, and that was life.
Who was the woman that was the bassist for Smashing Pumpkins for a while? I don't think
Darcy.
not Darcy. More recently.
Oh,
But she started as like their photographer and like a borderline. I don't want to say groupie, but she was just like a huge fan. But she played bass and
eventually?
yeah, eventually she ended
Ended
up
up being
like playing
The
with
bass player. Yeah.
with them.
That's
yeah.
wild.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
never know, man.
Yeah. Reg, how about you? When was the first time you kind of felt like this is a band I'm in?
I was like 15 years old, and my buddy Mick, who still plays around here, and we still play together every now and then, drove out to my folks' house in Seven Stars, picked up me and my drums, took it to his place in the basement, and we played along with 45s on a record player, and trying to
that.
figure out the songs out.
Yeah.
And then we just kept playing, and we ended up finding, like, we grew up in a small town, and like you didn't find other musicians in your school.
Right.
He's
but
from
we ended-
Juniata County.
Okay.
Yeah, way up the way. Great place to grow up. But you couldn't find other players, so we eventually tracked down a guy that could sing, and found a bass player, a buddy of ours at the time, and started putting stuff together. All covers and stuff.
Okay.
We started getting like a gig at the high school, and the pool party, the beloved pool party.
That's good stuff. Though, man.
Absolutely.
All your peers are
That's how
there.
we cut our teeth.
The girls that you never maybe were able to get, now all of a sudden you're playing in front of them.
My first gig was a pool party.
Was it
First
really?
paying gig was a pool party.
Where was that?
It was a Sweet 16 party for Tony and Denise Garver.
I know Tony and Denise.
Yeah.
Behind Locust Lane, back in
It
there.
was like Earl Drive or
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
right?
Right.
Yeah, so their parents hired us to play the Sweet 16. We got written up in the Paxton Herald.
Oh, that's great. That is great. That's so cool.
press, hot press, man.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so 1994. I'm with the Martini Brothers here. We have Deuce, Brian, and Reg. I'm Joe Gilloway. This is This and That, the podcast. Thanks for tuning in. I got so caught up. I got to remind people who we are, where we
That's
are.
right.
Cool,
We are
man.
live at Dale's Drum Shop, and I'm having a lot of fun here with these guys. So I think we're kind of right where you guys are playing together. Talk about the band or bands you were in, like kind of the local that were kind of getting the better gigs and the the more I don't know about how we were getting paid. I don't want to go there, but
Yeah, well, I mean, you didn't get paid a ton.
that's why I don't want to
back
put it
in the
that
day.
way.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're lucky if they let you play there.
Right.
And if you could bring a few people, then we'll talk about
But
some
you
money.
were playing in a prominent band.
I had so I was playing in a band called Lickety Split, and we were playing around here in Mechanicsburg and down in Hummelstown at a place called Tooties or Toots. It was
Toots.
called Toots. And after that band fizzled, I joined a band called Easy Mickey.
That's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was probably 20 years old when I joined Easy Mickey. I replaced a guy that moved to New York City, and that was a 5-piece band. That was
They were
kind of like a
getting good
rock band.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were playing in Baltimore and
Cool
DC
band.
a lot. Yeah, we were getting
Right.
really good gigs.
I saw them with you.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
And then the original bass player of Easy Mickey left the band, and I went, instead of finding another guitar player, I just went to bass.
Right.
And then we became a 4-piece. Yeah, we were recorded a bunch in Philly. We were really sort of ahead of our time in a way. We were kind of pre-grunge, post-metal. It was an interesting band.
Now, how'd you meet this guy?
I met him
Reg.
because I used to go out and watch bands, and he's a few years older than me, so he was in one of those bands that I watched to figure out, this is how you do rock and roll.
So they were good.
They were really
What was
good.
the band name?
The Insiders.
Oh, that was a really good band.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, Reg.
And that would be Mick that I talked about earlier.
Yeah.
The singer.
Yeah, that was a good band. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
And then he was in the Underground Cartoons as well.
That was a really good band too.
Yeah.
I used to see out there at out in Grantville, real small, loud, hot. What was the name of it?
Grantville. You mean Aloha Joe's in Hershey?
No, this was in Grantville, but
Grantville.
Thoroughbreds out past Grantville.
Thoroughbreds?
Yeah.
Thoroughbreds.
Yeah?
Thoroughbreds.
Oh, man.
Did you ever play there?
No, you didn't.
Okay. I never played there,
I don't remember.
but that
playing
was a rough spot,
Thoroughbreds.
man.
Underground Cartoons never played there.
No, I'm pretty sure.
You guys were a fun band
Oh,
though.
we got around.
You've seen them.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Metron, wherever.
Aloha
So-
Joe's. I was thinking you might be thinking that because it's out that way.
Where's Aloha
It
Joe?
was in the strip mall in Hummelstown, right there by Hershey
Oh.
Park Drive.
Sure. I know what you mean.
So something happened that you guys were able to. What happened with the Insiders that you became a free agent, or how'd that happen?
We
Well-
just eventually
You
decided.
just kind of gravitate towards one another.
So the Insiders was before Underground Cartoons.
Yeah, that's going way back.
Oh,
yeah,
that's right. Yeah, I'm
That's
sorry.
80s.
Right. So I was influenced by watching these guys play in the Insiders, and then I figured out that this is what I wanted to do. The way that he and I got together, as far as actually playing together, is a different story altogether. In '97, our original drummer passed away, and Mike Mead played bass, and he's the original bass player in this band, and he was in the band for like 20 years. And he and I did not necessarily want to give up the band and like just put it to bed, and I was thinking there's like 2 guys that I can.
This is something I don't mean to interrupt. But this is something bands go through. I mean, it's
Well,
relatively common, and some of them kind of muddle through it and keep going. Now, you guys were probably young enough too.
Yeah.
And then we see bands that they say, "That's it. We're not going to do it. We can't do it without Bob, or we can't do it without Jim." And
It's true.
yeah. So
It's true.
So you guys decided we're having too much fun, and
We got too much momentum.
yeah, too much momentum. Right.
And the thing is I enjoyed doing it, and I enjoyed playing with Mike. Why would Mike and I stop playing with each other if
Sure.
we enjoyed playing with each
Yeah.
other? And Chad wouldn't have wanted us to quit.
No way.
So
way.
Mike and I were talking. I'm like, I said, if I can't get Reg Troop to join this band, then maybe we won't do it.
Right.
But
Contingent upon.
yeah, you know what I mean? Because I don't know. There was another guy named Trent. He played in Easy Mickey, and I really wanted that guy maybe also, but Reggie said yes right away. So
And that was it. That was
Yeah.
1997,
1997.
right?
Wow.
All right. So,
Wow, bro.
Yeah.
I mean,
Next
you guys
year.
have played at so many
It's
places. I don't even want to
20
ask you where your favorite venues or anything like. What was the first like really big? I know that you're friends with like the guys from Poison, and have you opened for Live? I think.
Yeah. Yeah. A couple
And
times.
that was at a.
Hershey Park, Hershey Park Arena, the original one.
Yeah.
Okay, what was that like? I mean, it seems like a big gig.
Well, it is a big gig. Yeah, I mean, there were like 17 or 20,000 people.
Yeah, it seems like a big gig because Live was hot too.
It
what a
was
great band.
It was the year 2000.
Yeah, they were hot.
We were supposed to play. Oh, yeah, they were
Where did they-
already like
Yeah.
top of the world.
Asbury Park Convention Center with them too.
Yeah, in the
Mhm.
Asbury
Which is
Park
cool.
Convention Center, we
Super
played
cool.
with them too.
I saw Live when they were Public Affection at the Metron.
Sure.
There you go, man.
And they were good. They were so good.
Oh
They
my
opened
gosh, yeah,
for Modern English.
Yeah.
And all I remember thinking when I left there is that Public Affection was better than Modern
Yeah, they
English.
were
Did you
awesome.
think that?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Wow.
Absolutely. They were so good.
They were awesome
Yeah,
right out
just
the gate.
super industrial. They were super industrial.
Those guys were young too.
So that must have been a blast, though, playing in front of all those fans.
Yeah, it was strange, because
So did they give you love?
the fans.
The fans,
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
Okay.
It was a 50-50 mix, probably.
Yeah, so they knew that the
You're still
Martini
the-
brothers were going to be like the local people.
I think so. Yeah.
I don't mean to keep cutting you off. This
no,
is an exciting
you
story.
can cut me off all you
I'm
want.
trying
That's
to
what an
get
interview is.
Like you might sure like a lot of people that knew you were playing there and your supporters were there for you.
Yeah,
Oh, that's so great.
I think so.
Yeah.
I have no idea because those lights are coming down, and all you can only see out about 12 or 15 rows,
Right.
right? And then it becomes this wash,
Right.
and it is a strange experience at first.
And Reg, you were there for that gig.
hmm
What was that like?
It was awesome. I mean,
Just
playing
awesome, yeah.
the arena, and I think Asbury Park was more fun because we got free reign of the place,
Right.
where we could explore that whole convention center, which is a very storied, ancient place. And I remember going up on the roof. I still have a piece of driftwood from the roof of the Asbury Park Convention.
That's cool. Before they
We were
redid it.
killing time, before the gig, and we had free reign of the place. Cool.
So let me
You
get-
couldn't do that now.
You could not do
No.
that.
Brian, let me bring you in here now. What it's a storybook edition, or the way that you came along after you were a fan and it opened for him. I just think that's neat. That's a rock and roll story. That's just
It is
a
awesome.
fun, great, awesome story. Had you been playing any gigs kind of this big? I know you weren't there for that one, right? But
Right,
you
yeah, I
came
wasn't-
in after.
He
well
was
after.
he was 10.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you came in well
I was-
after that.
I don't know. I was maybe.
What was it like though once you started? Let's not even talk about like venues and size of venues and all that. Just what was it like when you took over the playing the bass for the Martini Brothers? And did things kind of go from like that kind of speed to?
I would say, I mean, yeah, definitely more frequent gigs. The bands I had played in before, we were out there and we were playing, maybe not quite as visible as the Martini Brothers, a little more niche, if you will.
Mhm.
But I was going out to see these guys all the time, and I thought they were the greatest band in town. And I worked here on and off with Reg, so I got to know him really well, and then got to know Deuce.
That's how.
Yeah.
Because he worked at Dale's Drum Shop.
Okay,
So, these guys talk all day long
Right.
and interact with one another.
right.
All of a sudden, our original bass player, Mike Mead's leaving the band, and these two must have figured it out.
Right.
I didn't have a choice in it. Really.
Right. Oh, by the way, dude.
Yeah. I'm like, what?
We got a bass player.
Really?
Yeah. I think I was at the last gig Mike played, and a few people said to me, they knew I was a drummer, but they were like, you should maybe play bass with those guys. And I'd be like, well, I would love to do that, but that's not my call to make, you know what I mean? So I think these guys too, it was like not really an audition kind of situation. I don't think they were like thinking of anyone else or
They
like
knew you
trying
could
to
play, right?
Yeah, right. They knew I could play.
Yeah.
And I think it was more just kind of like that we all knew each other and got along and were into having a good time. And it was going to be a good fit. And like my bass playing was good enough, but it's come way further.
Mhm.
And I think, just knowing that I could do it well enough to begin with, they knew it would get better. And again,
And what year
the
was this,
personality
roughly?
was there, like 2015, 16,
Okay,
maybe,
so it's-
16, 17,
you're settled
somewhere
in.
in there. Yeah.
Pretty good.
Maybe about 10 years.
Yeah,
ago.
that's a while.
Something
10,
like
11
that.
Kind
Yeah.
of like when Chad died, you and Mike weren't sure if you still wanted to do it. And when Mike left, Deuce and I weren't quite sure if we still wanted to do
Right.
it, but didn't take much thought.
He was already right there.
This is still fun.
Right.
It's
let's
still fun.
try and keep doing it. And happened to know Cardi and knew that he played bass and just worked out, so we kept it rolling.
So, as far as I know, you guys have 4 albums and an EP, which I consider a small album. Is that what you have in your?
Yep.
Talk about the kind of the songwriting process for the original stuff. It's a whole different deal than playing covers. I mean,
Yeah, it is.
right?
Yeah, it sure
entirely different deal.
Yeah.
Who writes the songs, and do you guys write them together, or how's that work?
I generally come up with some type of riff or something like that, and then bring it to the band, and then we kind of like work it together. The last song that we wrote together, basically Reggie wrote it. He wrote all the lyrics to it, and I adapted the music that was coming out of his mouth.
Neil Peart wrote the songs for Rush.
All of them.
So yeah, it's
Every
not
single-
yeah. Drummers can write songs too.
Did you know that? That Neil Peart?
Yeah, he was the songwriter.
That's crazy. He wrote every lyric
Mhm.
to every song.
Yeah,
It was wild.
yeah.
Well, yeah. So, I wrote a bunch of these songs when I was still working at my dad's salon, right? I wasn't very,
Townhouse apartments.
yeah,
Mhm.
I wasn't very busy, and I would take my guitar to work, and in between customers, I'd sort of fiddle around in the back room and try to write songs, write some lyrics, and make it sound like something.
Right.
Yeah.
That's exciting though. When this all comes together, let's just skip ahead to you've rehearsed, you've written it, you've rewritten it, you've gotten it to the point where it's a song.
Yeah.
You've rehearsed it, and then you recorded it.
It's time to record it. Yes.
What's that like when you're first hearing your first couple songs that you ever wrote?
Well,
Like coming out of an album or a
coming
CD
off a
or
CD
whatever
or
it is.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even coming through the speakers in the studio.
Yeah.
It's
What's
cool.
that?
It's like, well, it's like, this is a weird way to say it, but it is like a dream come true.
Sure, I can
Because
imagine.
You dream up this song, right? You get the riff in your head, the lyrics, and then you put it together. You practice it together. You throw all the ingredients in the pot. You maybe take the oregano out a little
Mhm.
bit. And,
Big cauldron.
yeah,
You gotta
exactly.
mix it all together.
And it becomes like a love child.
It's a baby.
Yeah, it's
your
a
kid.
baby,
Yeah. Yeah.
And so then you record it and listen back to it, and it's like, wow, this is what I wanted. Or
Do you think about, will our fans like this? Is that going on, or you just have to kind of
Nah.
muddle through it and go, this is our song, no matter what. They're gonna
yeah,
have
they'll
to
either-
like it or not.
They'll either like it or they won't.
Yeah.
And that's okay, because like all of this is really not for the fans.
Right.
It's for
I buy that. I
it's
believe
for
that.
us.
Yeah.
The only reason I still do this is because I enjoy
Mhm.
it.
Got your buddies with you.
Yeah, exactly. And
People are still screaming. And,
I say it's like one of those things where if you stop doing it, for whatever reason, it's so hard to get back.
right.
It's like if you play tennis, I always use this equation that, just because you're older and you aren't the greatest tennis player anymore, doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it if you
Right.
enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it's the same way this band is,
Mhm.
Sometimes we'll play a gig and it'll be mediocre, and then we'll get back together and rehearse and go over some stuff like 2 weeks later, and that rehearsal will be better than the last gig.
Right.
The collective energy, whatever the reason is. And if we just rehearsed every once in a while, once a month, forever,
Right.
I'd be okay with that
What-
too.
what- How is that, Reg? I'll bring you in here. What makes, like, if you do 10 gigs, one could be great, 2 or 3 could be kind of almost great, but not great, and all the way down. I'm sure nothing sucks, but because you guys have been around too long and,
Yeah.
and you're too talented and your fans love you. But why are some gigs better than others? I mean, after all these years.
Crowd energy,
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
just the
That's a
general
great
vibe,
answer,
and
yeah.
everybody's up.
It is great.
Right.
If everybody's with you, it's the greatest feeling in the
Yeah.
world. And you can even play just okay, but if the crowd's with you,
It's going to sound real cliche, but you're feeding off them and they're feeding off you.
That's absolutely
Everybody's
true.
feeding
It's
off each
not
other.
cliche at all, man.
Right.
That
That's
is
exactly
what's
how it is,
happening.
right?
That's what's happening.
Yeah.
and it's even better than if you like were over the top in your playing,
hmm
solid, all of that stuff.
You guys have a favorite place to play, Deuce? Like when you book this gig, you go, oh man, I can't wait. We've had so many good gigs there.
So the places come and go. There's
Right.
so many places that used to be like that, and now they don't have bands anymore. So
How was the
favorite
Chameleon?
place
Did
to
you
play?
like that?
I liked the Chameleon a lot.
Yeah.
The load in was good. The sound was always
Small, tight.
yeah. The Chameleon was a good place.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Brian, where do you like to
Do you
play?
have a favorite place?
So I played the Chameleon as well, not with these guys, but that was a great club, man. The thing about that club was you would get so many national acts through there that it was really well known, and for them it was probably small. Like you said, it was tight, maybe 1,000 people or something. But for a local band, 1,000 people in a small club in downtown Lancaster was
Right.
kick ass, man. Like that was a badass show to play. So I was around for the Chameleon days a little bit, just going to shows there. I don't know. I like the tiny, sweaty dive bars we do. We play this place out in Pottsville called Hucklebucks. I mean, you're cramming 100 people in there.
Mhm.
And then I like some of these times, we play downtown New Cumberland for St. Patty's, and there's like 5,000 people there, and it's two totally different ends of
I mean, you guys
the thing.
done
But
county
yeah,
fairs.
Sure.
I mean,
There's no place we have.
yeah, and that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, go where the energy is, and the energy could be anywhere, right?
Anywhere.
Anywhere.
We played on trains before.
Oh,
We've played
that's
on
great.
buses.
we played on a float.
We played on boats. We played on a float.
That was a good one.
That was
That
funny,
was a
man.
good
Oh
one.
my god, dude.
There's a truck pulling
God,
this
if
float
we
around.
can end with that. I mean,
Yeah.
we're not going to. I still have
Lancaster.
questions. But hey,
We
you
never
played
did
on
it
a float.
before, and they asked us before we were getting ready to load up. You guys want harnesses, and we just looked at each other like,
No way.
"No, we don't want
Harnesses?
harnesses."
We try to keep that in our private life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, right. That's kind of weird
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
Is that extra? Do I have to pay you?
Oh my gosh.
In
That's
the
great.
meantime, if he popped the clutch, everything was going.
Right.
in
Yeah.
there
Well, he
Yeah.
knew. That's why
while we were playing.
There's a guy driving
Oh.
a pickup truck, and our stage is the trailer.
right.
This guy's going around Lancaster.
Oh my God.
That was a blast.
That was a
man.
blast.
Oh.
Towards the end of the evening, this guy started driving faster. And the microphone's going this way. I'm standing like Johnny Ramone, just not because I'm trying to be cool, but
You're
I'm
just
trying to
trying to
keep my
see.
balance. Microphone smacks me in the face.
Oh, that's great. I
Pretty
love
wild.
that.
Yeah, that was
What's
cool.
the okay? Let's talk, Brian. What's the next gig? Just give the people an idea of what. Sorry, Deuce. Yeah, what's upcoming? Give yourselves a plug.
So this next gig downtown Harrisburg, there was a bar on Locust Street called McGrath's. We all frequented it for a long time. It was again another small spot, but just had the vibe, man. And so I guess they bought this building on the corner, which was Aruga's for a long time. So now it's all McGrath's, which
Right.
I haven't been in the corner spot in a long time. So I don't know what it's going to be like in there, which is kind of exciting.
Right.
I mean, I
Yeah.
remember how it used to be, but I think it's just cool because I like McGrath's. And they're trying to do live music, and they're trying to revive downtown a little bit. And I think it's just going to be exciting because it's new, and I'm
It's
sure
gonna be-
there's going to be a bunch of different people there that aren't normally out, and just a
Right.
different crowd. So
That's going to be a good. gig
yeah,
there.
yeah. So something
Good.
different.
Okay. How about this?
That's Saturday, May 30th, by the way.
Saturday, May 30th. McGrath's. Is it
Second Street.
Yep.
on Second Street?
Yep, the new McGrath's.
Any of you have any interest in any other realms of art, like visual art? David Bowie always, and I'm making the comparison to David Bowie. Guys, there's a lot of musicians that do visual art too. They draw, they paint. You guys, because you're talented and kind of creative people, and I'm just wondering, is there anything else you do with your talent and creativity?
I'm a hairdresser.
But that's
There you go.
okay.
Yeah,
That's art, right?
yeah, that's art. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
I make stuff. Keep my hands busy. Walking sticks, barbers.
Right.
Oh yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that. Build a little garden thing.
Shout out the salon.
Deuce Gibbs Salon, New Cumberland.
go.
Yep. 30
Deuce
years
Gibbs
over
Salon.
Making the world more beautiful one head at a time.
there. That's right.
What are you guys listening to now? And I'll tell you why I asked that question. I used to be big. We were talking about Guns N' Roses. Remember on the phone a
Yes.
couple weeks ago? When Guns N' Roses were big, I loved them. So
yeah.
I was reading Rolling Stone, and the question that they asked Axl is, what are you listening to right now? What's in your CD player? And he said the Barkays. And I
Soul
thought,
Finger.
wow, man, this guy's
Awesome.
rocking hard, man, every night and listening to funk.
That's
know?
awesome.
Yeah. Oh, the Barkays are great.
Yep.
So good.
Yeah. So what are you listening to now? What else do you like? Anything outside of like what you play?
Oh yeah, definitely. I have been following KEXP out of Seattle, and it seems like those guys are like always one up on the coolest music that's like burgeoning
Right.
underground stuff. I really got into Wet Leg last year.
You finally lost me.
Yeah. So you gotta check out Wet Leg. They're such a great band. Their first two records are amazing. I love that band so much. Viagra Boys, I've been listening to those guys. You know who that is?
No, I'm
Yeah.
remaining lost.
So that's
But
all
I'll
right.
listen to. I'll listen
Yeah,
to them
check it
tonight.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah, so that stuff. That's like kind of new music that I'm listening to.
What's kind of a go-to, something that you've been listening to for 40 years?
Well, Funkadelic, you said that earlier. Sometimes I'll go home and put that record on.
I've seen them live like 15 times.
That's amazing. There's like 3 generations of people in that band.
So
I like to listen to that.
you can get high off that music without being high.
Oh, absolutely.
That's one of those kind of musics that you go, my gosh, what am I into here?
Can you imagine being in the studio while they were recording that stuff?
No.
I bet they were high.
Oh, I'm sure they were high.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Brian, how about you? What are you listening to?
Dude, I am so into this band called Spiritual Cramp from San Francisco. They are like kind of like a post-punk thing with some punk in there, but it blows my mind, man. Some of these bands that are as good as these guys are, that nobody knows who they are, and they come through and they play, and it sells out to like 100 or 200 people. And I just see these guys, and it's so good, and it's like, where does it ever get for them? You know what I mean? That you can make a record that's so good, and push it, and there's all this other music that makes it out into the mainstream. And it's not to say they want to make it out there, but it's just when I see something that's that good, I'm like, I want everyone to know how good this is.
Right.
You know, they just play this. I mean, I like a lot of stuff on the radio, don't get me wrong, but that stuff just like on repeat kind of. And it's good classic stuff, you know, good 90s stuff. But, you know, some of these bands out there, another band called Teen Mortgage, I think they're from the DC area, just like a duo, in the spirit of Nirvana, kind of that sort of thing, a little raw. But, you know, great hooks, great energy.
When you were first like loving music, like the Pixies and the Germs, you know, bands like that.
Yeah.
They were great, but they never really got any more. And I only think of those two because I just know how good they are or were. And and they only stayed real popular with that kind of group of fans. And
it's underground stuff, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just you got to have a taste for it. And I guess maybe that keeps it kind of sacred in its own way. It's
probably
you know, the masses don't need to know about it because they might not get it, you know.
Right.
And then it gets ruined.
Right.
You know, kind of like if I'm being honest, like Wet Leg, I think has reached that point where they lost their sort of edge and their punky sort of like undergroundy thing.
Well, people get a hold of them.
Yeah,
right?
and the people got a hold of it, and now the singer's trying to be sexy, and it's kind of taken away from what I thought was great about the band. And I watched it happen over the last 6 months, and it's sort of disappointing. They've lost their edge, and she's trying to be sexy now.
Why do I think Reg is going to say Led Zeppelin when I ask him what he's listening
I
to?
don't know.
Actually,
What are you listening to, Reg?
I tend to, like, if I have the time, I tend to go down like a rabbit hole. Like lately, it's been ELO.
Yeah, me too.
like
Lately, it's been
crazy.
ELO for me
And
too.
I listen a lot to Little Steven's Underground Garage, which it has a lot of cool stuff on it. Our buddies, the Jelly Bricks, are on there regularly. There's a lot of great music. The Dolly Rots. I can't ever, the names never come to mind, but that's probably it for me. And of course, Lawrence Welk.
Yeah, that has to be Lawrence Welk. How good was ELO? I didn't expect to ask that question.
Unbelievable.
Just so much more amazing than most people will ever know.
Yeah.
You know.
I saw ELO. I saw them last September. I saw their like third to last show ever.
The production of that show with the lights and all that.
Did you see it? Were you
No, I've only seen it on the internet.
Dude, I'm telling you right now. Like, okay, ELO, right? Nobody says it's their favorite band ever, really, right? You just know the catalog from being young, and you heard all of those songs. That show was the best show I have ever seen in my life. And I've seen millions of shows.
I could imagine.
That ELO show blew my mind.
Right.
And it went from one song to the next song. Jeff Lynne was perfect. There's production was incredible. That was incredible, man.
And it's all like hit.
Yeah, I don't like to rank or rate musicians, but not many people are more talented and have done more than Jeff Lynne.
You're right.
He's like your favorite musician's favorite musician type of guy, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, when people were looking for somebody to produce their album, like the biggest musicians in the world, they went to Jeff Lynne.
Yeah.
Back in like the 80s, you know.
In my opinion, ELO is kind of like Beatles 2.0,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So wherever the Beatles kind of left off, it seems as if Jeff Lynne's ELO came in and just took that thing to the next
Mhm.
level, you know.
Right.
With as brilliant as the Beatles were, I think Jeff Lynne took that to the next level.
Right.
And in a way, I think that Cheap Trick fits into that same thing that I'm talking
Right.
about, because their songs are not necessarily complex, but they're more complex than a normal hit song.
Right.
I don't know. There's something extra about those two bands.
Yeah, I would have loved to see a Yellow.
It was unbelievable,
concert.
dude.
Okay, how about day jobs? We know you guys both. Brian, do you still work here?
I not any longer. I worked here 4 times. They kept taking me back.
A total of
Of 4
shifts.
times. Yeah, no,
Four
like
different-
four different. We'll say 4 different 2-year periods.
you didn't really work here.
Wow.
You only worked 4
Yeah,
shifts.
4 shifts.
You know, it was great, man. Like they were all musicians, right? So
Right.
it's like I wanted to leave, and I played in this traveling cover band for a while, and that was cool. And when that faded out, you know, there was a spot for me, and I came back, and I, you know, worked here for a while again. Similar things, and you know, Dale was always real generous that way. You know what I mean? To just have a spot for me, and I knew
Right.
the job and that sort of thing. So yeah, did a lot of work here. I've had like 30 jobs, man. I'm a job hopper before job hopping was cool.
Right.
Used to be.
Used to be.
Used
And
to
I think
be.
I might be at a place now. I'm working for my buddy's company, Manada Electric. Shout out.
Okay.
You know, just running some equipment and tools for these guys, helping out the electricians, running
Right.
the warehouse. And yeah, my buddy started this company maybe 10 years ago, and it's just exploding, man.
That's good
So
enough, man. You're a
yeah,
musician.
yeah,
just
and,
gotta
you
pay
know,
the bills.
and he's
Against
cool if I
me,
need
right?
if I need some time off to do
Right.
a gig or something. He's cool. He
That's
gets
great.
it. Yeah.
And we know Reg is works here at Dale's Drum Shop,
General
Fritchie Street
manager.
in Colonial Park. And we know Deuce has Deuce Gibb Salon.
Yeah,
Dad was Earl Gibb for hair.
for sure.
He was the man. I know. I remember that era.
You do?
The townhouse apartment.
That was
But
awesome.
it was like a big city type of place. 'Cause
It
it
was.
had multiple shops in the
Yes.
lobby, and
A coffee shop, a barber shop,
Yeah.
a hair salon.
it was so cool. Yeah,
Yeah, that was built in 1960 by a guy named Abe Kramer.
I knew people that got their hair done. I know people that get their hair done by you, but got their hair done by your father,
Yeah,
and they spoke real high. They wouldn't go anywhere else.
my dad won the international haircutting
Oh
competition
my god!
in New
That's
York City.
international, man.
Holy
International
moly.
haircutting competition at Madison. No, it wasn't Madison Square Garden. It was someplace in New York, the Coliseum. And anyway, that was in 1966.
You weren't around yet.
No, I was not.
Okay.
I was.
Okay. So now the band itself is in its 4th decade, the 33rd year.
Wow,
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
5 albums, if you include the EP, which I do. It's a small album, short album.
Bunch of videos.
Yeah, a bunch of videos. Yeah. You're still very active, I would say. As active as you want to be, right? As
That's
far as
exactly right.
live music.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
You
Playing
kind of
gigs.
feel like it's time, or it's time to book a gig. It's time to pull back a little bit and rest a little bit, right?
We don't
Just-
try to
you do
fill our
things
schedule.
at your own pace, right?
Yeah, exactly. We're not necessarily trying to fill a schedule for this coming year. You know, we leave it open. That way, cool stuff comes our way.
Right.
You know, and we can say yes. And, you know, we all got other interests.
That's what I
as
do
well.
with the podcast.
Yeah.
I seriously, I just think, man, I am not cramming podcast after podcast.
You don't
I'm
have
going
to.
to wait and do what I want to do.
That's right.
I'm going to find fun people, cool people, smart people, and here's the Martini brothers, man. I seriously, guys, I've been bugging him since we started this 13 months ago. Have I not?
Well, I wouldn't say you
No, I
been
told
bugging
you
me.
that I had interest. That I'd love to have
You were trying to figure out a way to do a music angle, and he was trying to get like a bunch of guys
from all over the world.
that he wanted to talk to his favorite local dudes, which is guys that he knows, Jeff Gaines.
Yeah, and
you
Deuce
know.
knows them all. So I.
So, yeah, but instead he said, you know what, I have an idea. Let's just simplify this for the first one, and we'll just do you.
Yeah,
guys.
just do the Martini brothers.
Yeah.
And man, I was so excited to do this. And so let's do this. Let's finish up with plugs and shout outs. We already plugged everybody's
Thank you.
day jobs. Anybody want to say hi to anybody? You want to shout anybody out? Is that corny doing shout
I
out?
don't know that it's corny. I mean, I don't think it's corny. I don't necessarily have anybody to shout out though.
I had 3 girls on. Girls, they were high school basketball players, 3 or 4, and they like to do the shout outs, the girls and the boys, you know.
Okay.
So we did the first 3. I was like, hey, have any shout outs, Mary? And she's like, I got my mom and this and that. And they get to the last one. Her name was Samira Mamadou, East High. Great kid, great student athlete. I said, Samira, how about you? Do you have any shout outs? She goes, nope.
I like
I
it.
said, that's the best.
It's good. Yeah.
Sometimes less is way more, you know? So
Yeah.
anyway, anybody have any shout outs? How about to the fans? Let's say hi to-
Hi to the
Absolutely.
fans. Hello, fans.
Yeah.
Coming out all the years, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
And then we're going to finish with this. I have a friend that Deuce knows, I'd say pretty well, probably, Larry Bragg.
Yeah.
He has a sports apparel company business called Payor Apparel.
Yeah.
And Payor stands for play at your own risk.
Mm.
Normally it kind of pertains to sports, but you guys play.
Yeah.
So I want to get your t-shirt sizes, and I'm going to get you Payor Apparel t-shirts.
I'll dig that.
We're
Thank
going
you.
to start. How about we start with Reg?
XL these days, baby.
Ooh,
All right,
XL.
all right.
All right, do large.
You're going to swim in that.
Give me large.
All right, we'll take the X out
I've
of
got
there.
some work to do.
Brian, what's your?
I'm at a large at this point
I
as
think
well.
you are, yeah.
I was holding on to that medium as long as I could, man. But
I'm holding on to the medium.
I like
You
eating.
hold on to the
I'm
medium?
holding on to the medium. Let me get
How
that.
about black? Black, okay.
Always.
All right. All right. What a great time,
Thank you.
fellas. I really appreciate it.
So do
Once
we.
again, we have Reg, Brian, and Deuce from the Martini Brothers. This is This and That, the podcast. I'm your host, Joe Gillaway. Wednesday, the 27th of May, we're going to do, we're going to really change the tempo of this, aren't we? From the Martini Brothers, but we're going to do a show on addiction and recovery, and that's going to be a big deal too. We try to bring you things from all different realms and stuff. So, but please try to tune into that. We're going to have some friends of mine, and full disclosure, I'm in recovery too. So yeah, we're going to talk about what it used to be like, what happened, and what it's like today. So thanks to our sponsors, and then we're going to let everybody go. They are Team PA AAU Basketball, Rickabaz Electric, Lingelstown Gazette Sports, and the Robert H. Hoke American Legion Post 272. And thanks to Tom Gingrich for coming and helping us out tonight. Let's
Thanks,
see if we can
Tom.
get this shut down.
All right. See y'all at McGrath's
Yeah.
Saturday, May 30.
No, Tom, you just got to just. You ever not been able to close a gig down?
Sometime.
This is our here. There we go.